I bet you thought I forgot about you. I did not forget about Daily Distinction. So it's great to be with you today. Sorry for the last minute jumping on here and didn't get a chance to send anything out. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't get a chance to prepare for today either. And there's no excuse for that. So I'm owing you guys big time apologies, but it's great to be here. Thank you. Hey, Brian, great to see you, my friend. Here we go. Huh? Typically I write and I post what it's going to be about. We had the webinar this morning, and many of you were on that. So please let me know what you thought of the webinar this morning that we had with Larry Winget, Randy Pennington, and me talking about 10 ideas that can make you more profitable during these changing times. So if you were here, Charles, I know that you were. I don't know if you're on yet or not. I hadn't seen you, but Charles was on, and several of the folks, Weldon, a lot of the folks that are regular viewers of Daily Distinction were on, and we had a great time this morning. And then, and I haven't even had a chance to change the background here, Mike Koenigs has a program that's video, and they do it as a video, they do it as an audio podcast, and then it also creates an article for Entrepreneur Magazine. And he had me as the guest, and we were supposed to be finished up about 11:30, 11:45, and we had such a spectacular interview, and just not even interview. We just had such a great discussion that literally we just ended, and we were supposed to end like a half an hour earlier, and we just continued so long. Mike Koenigs does a lot of work with Tony Robbins. Matter of fact, Tony narrates everything that for Mike. And he is also involved with Dan Sullivan. That name may or may not be familiar. Dan Sullivan is, by all regards, has the most important and exclusive mastermind group of business leaders out there. And so they do a podcast together. And I had a privilege of being on that today. So that's why I'm dashing to do this right now. But Randall, thanks. I was so glad you were there. Glad you liked those 10 tips. Charles, I was just mentioning about you. Tammy is 80%, I would guess. 75, maybe 80%. And that ain't bad, because it could sure be a lot worse. Nothing. I gotta tell you, if you haven't seen on Facebook, we got the results of the second test back. I assumed Tammy was going to be positive because of what she's been dealing with, but my second test for COVID came back positive as well, and I'm shocked. I mean, I'm feeling great. Things are great. So I'll keep you posted. But I put on Facebook today, and I don't mean for Daily Distinction to turn into a discussion, about COVID-19 and that. This is kind of our chance to get away from it. Thank you, Sheila. She's not 100%, but she is feeling better, and I appreciate you asking. But I do have to say this, and if you saw my post on Facebook, you know, the fact that I'm okay is scary to me, because had Tammy not been sick, I never would have gotten tested. I mean, I feel fine. And that's what's terrifying, because I think that may be in part how so many people are getting infected. Because if you are asymptomatic, you might be careless as well. And I know that, I keep thinking back, that I had my mask on all the time, but still it worries me. I would never want to be the carrier that made someone else ill, whether I know him or not. I wouldn't want anybody to go through what Tammy's been going through. And it's just one of those things that I find so fascinating about this situation. And, how scary it is that you could be walking around making everybody else sick and you feel great. I mean, you know what I mean? Because we've kind of been conditioned to the flu. And if you got the flu, you shouldn't be around anybody. But when you spread it, it's when you're sick. And now to be just fine, and, I could be out there spreading it around is just really, really scary to me. So please, take care of yourself and take care of others. Hey, Mike, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. We had a blast doing that this morning. And if you weren't there, we will put up a replay. There's going to be a scheduled replay. If you weren't able to be there for the webinar that we did, we do have a replay coming in. Yep, Tammy's ready to suit up. That's it. I love that. Yeah, Sheila, I guess it is. That's part of what I was thinking. But when the second test came back positive, I wouldn't. 2 consecutive false positives, especially when I'm with somebody who has been positive. I don't know. Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate that very much. That's very kind. Hey, and Charles, you reminded me. Thank you for sharing, and thanks everybody for sharing this. You've heard me say this before, but most of our viewers, in fact, watch on the replay. And the reason that they know about the replay is because you're kind enough to share it. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for that. If you didn't have a chance to be here this morning, what we talked about was the Ultimate Business Summit. The Ultimate Business Summit is coming up. It's August 13 and 14. It's Larry Winget and Randy Pennington and me, and you'll see if you watch the replay of that, if you weren't there earlier, you'll have a chance to see how we interact and what we talk about. And the cost is not much when you've got all the things going on that we've got going on. $197 for the regular admission, the VIP, which includes early, the night before, we're all going to get together and kind of have a virtual cocktail party. We've got a special VIP lunch with Simon Bailey, who is an executive with Disney, going to be talking about the experience and leadership. If you are a part of this, we're going to have special Zoom calls only for VIP members, and we're going to record it, but we're not going to offer the recordings for sale. It only goes to VIP members, and that's the price there. But here's the cool part. If you watch Daily Distinction, enter the coupon code Scott when you check out, you get $100 off. So to attend is under $100 if you do that. So enough about that. Let's talk about what I put here, and that is one of the things that really came out in my conversation with Mike. And yes, I'm dressed up because we were doing that event, that formal conversation with Mike Koenigs. Is that you've heard me talk, and Larry, my friend Larry Winget, is the one who has really pioneered this and really influenced my thinking on this. And we hear people talk about the importance of passion and how important passion is to your success, whatever you do. And I believe that passion is important, but I also believe it's highly overrated. I believe that there are people out there who are passionately incompetent. And if you don't believe that, the most dramatic example of it is when every season starts of American Idol, and you hear these poor people singing who, you wonder, didn't anybody in their family say, oh, for God's sakes, don't go? Did anybody in their family not say to them, please don't embarrass yourself? Right? Oh, they're so passionate about singing. They're so passionate about, but they can't sing. I mean, I'm really passionate about basketball, but it doesn't mean I'm going to a tryout camp for the NBA. I mean, they don't need 5 feet, 10-inch guys with a 4-inch vertical leap. I mean, I don't stand a chance, right? So passion is important, but competency is more important. Larry's example, I don't think he'll maybe telling. Larry's example is they're about to wheel you into heart surgery. And you got a guy over here and they say, he shows up for every day and he does surgery. He doesn't really love it. He loves the money. He loves the benefits. And 99% of his patients have no complication and they make a full recovery. And we got this other guy over here and he is so passionate. I've never seen anybody love heart surgery like he loves heart surgery. And half of his patients live. But he's really passionate. He loves being a surgeon. Now, which one are you going to choose? Are you going to say, man, I want the one with passion? Or it's a coin flip if I live, but at least I know I've been operated on by a passionate surgeon. Or do you want the other? And you would too. I want a 99% chance of success rather than a 50% chance of success. Why? Because I'm worried about competence, not about passion. So I think it's important that we think about what we are passionate about, but I think it's pretty important that we're really good at what we do. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Hey, Weldon, thank you for being there at the program today. Yeah, everybody gets a trophy, Charles. I think it's, I loved what Randy said, is that recognize effort, but reward results. I think everyone who participates should be recognized because they didn't sit at home on their couch, right? I mean, every kid that gets involved in, let's use Little League as an example. Every kid that gets involved in Little League should be recognized. They got out and they did something. They practiced and they were part of a team and they ought to be recognized. But rewards go to results. I hadn't thought of this for years, Charles. One of my prized possessions, I know I have it. I don't know where it is right now, but I know I have it, was we won the Little League tournament. We won the pennant and the tournament in Crothersville. And they gave everybody a little trophy. And man, that thing meant more to me than just about anything I got. You know why? Because we got it for winning, not just for playing the game. Now, cool, you play the game. Maybe you get a ribbon, right? But the trophy was, and if we don't reward winning early, then how will we know the difference? We kind of talked about this yesterday. Mike, I think you're exactly right. It's one piece, but it's not the only piece. If the competency is equal, of course, I could not agree with you more. If the skill level and the competency is equal, choose the more passionate person. And isn't it interesting that we become more passionate about the things that are important to us? And we tend to become more passionate of the things we do well. And that's always been the challenge I've had with Larry's example of the surgeons, is if the person is that great of a surgeon, we tend to get passionate about those things that we're really good at doing, right? I mean, if you're really good at putting the ball into the basket, you tend to get pretty passionate about playing basketball because you're good. We gravitate towards the things that build us recognition or make us feel good. Yeah, Randy was spot on with that comment, wasn't he, Charles? About we recognize participation, but we reward results. Thanks, Weldon. I love it. I'm passionate today. Here I am, passionate, talking about how passionate is and everything, right? Sheila, and you are in such a challenging situation. Yep. You don't want the participation trophy. You want a kidney. You want to do everything that you can to make that happen. And Tammy and I have prayed for you because we hope that happens for you. So the question for all of us, and this is part of what I was talking with Mike Koenigs about, is that, what happens is sometimes too, our passion blinds us, right? Here's what I mean by that. I remember shopping at Comp USA. Anybody remember Comp USA? They hadn't been around for a while, but I bought my first computer. I tried to buy my first computer, I guess I should say, at Comp USA. And you went in the store and there were enough people that were working there. But the problem is you couldn't get anybody to wait on you. You know why? Because they were all standing back around this latest computer. See, the people that worked there were passionate about computers, but they weren't passionate about serving customers. Sometimes we get so engaged of the technical aspect of our job or our business or our whatever it is, that we don't see the forest for the trees. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we are so close to it that we don't see things like the customer. And when we stop seeing things like the customer, then we're really no longer able to serve them in the manner that we should. Yeah, Sheila, your first one was Comp USA. Yeah, that's an oldie but a goldie. Yeah, it was. Well, it was a long time ago. But that's part of why they went out of business, is because people buy from people. And if you aren't passionate about people, hey, the people that they had that were passionate about computers, they would have been great in the service department. You know, where you bring your computer in and you drop it off and then somebody fixes it and you come back and get it later. I mean, they would have been great there. But the problem is, you know, they'd say, and I was such a neophyte, you know, with my first computer, I didn't know anything about computers. It's got 8 meg of RAM. Is that good or bad? I didn't know. Yeah. I remember that first computer I got was a Macintosh 512K. 512K. Is that crazy? How things have changed? Just amazing. Little Packard Bell. You spent a lot of time with the folks at CompUSA. Yeah. So why do stores like CompUSA fail? Why did Sears fail? Is failing? Why do we see so much of this? Everybody wants to blame Amazon. And that's certainly been a significant part of it. But yet, if you can't deliver an experience to me that's at least as compelling as Amazon, why should I buy from you? Yeah, I know we need to buy local, and I know we need to, but you know, it really strikes me that if you have a chance to engage your customer, talk to your customer, wouldn't that trump overcome just clicking something online? It does for me. But yet Amazon thrives. Why? Because I think in part, we get such lousy customer service most places we go. Shelly, my sister that's on here, you see her comment every once in a while, you know, was talking about how rude somebody was to her at a medical office where she's scheduling an appointment. Just rude. And let me tell you part of the reason I think that's the case. It's because they can get away with it. You know why? Because the doctor isn't trained in business. The doctor isn't educated in the customer-patient experience. The doctor doesn't know those things. And guess what else? If the doctor calls and that person sees the caller ID and knows it's her boss, oh, I bet she's great to the doctor. And then the doctor doesn't know how they're communicating with patients. Hey, the doctor might have incredibly warm bedside manner. What's your attitude going in if you've been treated badly as you made the appointment? When was the last time that, for example, somebody, here's an exercise I love. Get a friend to call whoever answers the phone for you. If you got somebody who answers the phone for you, well, if they know you're calling, of course they're great. Get a friend to call and have it on speaker so that you can hear how the phone is answered when they don't know it's you. That sounds like a little thing, but it's a big thing. It is. It's a big thing. As you've heard me quote my friend Joel Weldon here, you know, nobody in this room has been bitten by an elephant, but we've all been bitten by a mosquito. See, it's the little things that get you. It's the little things that make such a difference. And so how do you check on the little things about your business that can make a difference? Because you got to execute every time. I mentioned here a couple of days ago, I let down a customer, and it drives me crazy. I let down a customer here in the last couple of weeks. And here I talk about it. It's so important to me to walk the talk. And it bothers me like you can't believe, because you've got to execute every single time. And we've got to do that. Yeah, Mike, that is so important. I've stopped recognizing bad customer service is pretty much the expectation. I recognize great service. It's sad it shifted 180 degrees. Yeah. It's so funny. We were flipping through some old movies and stuff. And do you remember in the movie Back to the Future, where he goes back and he sees a car pull in the gas station, and the gas station's still in the same place, right? So he knows it's the filling station, the gas station, and the car pulls in, and like 3 guys run out and they're cleaning the windshield, they're pumping the gas, and they're checking the oil and all that. And there's just the great scene of Michael J. Fox just gobsmacked because he's never seen anything like that in his life. How did we go from that level of service to get out and pump it yourself? It's incredible. Yeah, we have all failed that test, Weldon. We have all failed that test. Charles, when I posted that, I could hear the dial-up modem in my head. I could just hear it. Yeah, it's the Stone Age in some ways. So, part of what we're saying is you become more passionate at the things that you are really good at doing. So, what are you really good at doing, and how do we enhance our passion? And then, what can we learn from that we could take to some of the things that we're not really crazy about, but we got to do to make things happen? And how do we deliver that ultimate experience? That's what I could get excited about. You know why? Because when you do that, your customers get excited. And have you ever noticed how it's reciprocal? See, I think it would be relatively, I'm not saying it's easy, but it would be relatively easier to work at the Apple store than it would be some of the other retail outlets in the same mall. You know why? Because most of us kind of dig our iPhone. We walk in with the perception that we're going to be happy. And we walk in expecting that they're going to take care of us. And we walk in. Now, it doesn't mean they do it every time. But we walk in kind of thinking this is going to be fine. It's going to be great. And we walk in other places going, boy, I wonder what they're going to do. You know, is anybody going to wait on me? Geez, this is terrible. Right? So if customers are happy, the employees tend to be happier. And when the employees are happier, it makes for happier customers, and it becomes a cycle. How do we break that cycle if it's not what's happening the way we want it to in our business? Well, we got to begin by recognizing it. Okay? You can't fix a problem of which you're unaware or which you won't confront. And then you have to decide, what does it take to serve customers in a way that's going to be repeatable and referable? Yeah, it's so right, Brian. And isn't that sad? But it also inspires loyalty. When people are let down by someone's failed promise and integrity more than anything else. Brian, there's a section I wrote in Iconic based on some of the research that we did, and it said customers judge you based on only two things: it's promise and performance. What do they perceive that you have promised them? And how did you perform? And are those congruent, right? So if you promise me here and deliver down here, that gap is my dissatisfaction. If you promise down here and perform up here, interestingly enough, eventually I will grow to perceive you as manipulative. In other words, you're sandbagging the promise to make yourself look good, not to really help me, but to make yourself look like a hero. And so that disconnection creates a problem. But when they are aligned, when the promise and performance are aligned, that's when we display our integrity and inspire loyalty. Do what you said you would do when you said you would do it. Charles, yeah. But you've heard me talk on here before, Charles. We use the Bureau of Motor Vehicles many times as the example of what's wrong and what's bad and what sucks when it comes to relating service. And then I've told you the story in Indiana. It's phenomenal. It's the licensed branch that I went to in Fishers, Indiana. I've said, I think the longest I ever spent there was 6 minutes. Didn't matter what you were doing. They get you in and out, and they're friendly, and they smile, and it's clean, and it's just, and you know what that taught me, and I apologize for repeating this because I talked about this a few days ago, but it taught me that every state could do it if they really wanted to. And it taught me every business could do it if they really wanted to. If you can have a great customer experience getting your driver's license, then why don't I have a good experience at a restaurant? Or why don't I have a good experience at a store? Why don't I have a good experience at the doctor's office? Or what I have right? If they can do it, if Taxi Terry can deliver this incredible experience, if I can get that from a cab driver, why wouldn't I want it from my financial advisor? Why wouldn't I want it from my real estate agent? Why wouldn't I want it from of course I want it, but it just shows they could deliver it if it was a priority to them. So what's your priority? And not just what we say our priority is. But how do we back that up with the actions that display that we live our word? That's really important. Brian, you review those two items every day. There you go. I appreciate that so much. Promise and performance. How are they congruent? What are we promising? How do we perform based on the promise that we've made? That's what it's all about. I just had a weird thought. Maybe that should be on my tombstone. The performance has concluded. I don't know. Hey, everybody, just a reminder one last time before we're gone for the day about go to ultimatebusinesssummit.com. Man, I'd love to have you join us. We've got so many exciting things. I don't mean to turn this into a pitch fest. It's certainly not that, but I'm really, really excited about it. That's the regular price for tickets, but because you watch this program, this live stream, all you need to do is enter the coupon code Scott, and you get $100 off your registration, which means it's $97 to come to the summit or $397 for the VIP that gets you the recordings and the extra sessions and the Zoom calls afterwards and all kinds of good stuff. So I promise I'll be more prepared tomorrow. That's the promise I make. Now, you can check out the performance and see what happens. But I appreciate you understanding my running in here at the last minute today. I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate, as you know, I can't say it enough. I'm grateful that you share this, and I'm grateful that you spend time here every day. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow on the next edition of Daily Distinction.